dog.
J.Jones.
J. Jiggy.
J. Jiggy.
And the homie, the big homie, the big homie. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. My cowboy brother, my dog, one of my favorite teammates I've had. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Like Carrie said, these two were good friends of mine. My name's Victor, but people call me Vic, whatever makes you more comfortable.
And he's a man of a few words, a lot like this young lady that we about to check out real quick. So before I say anything or J.Jones say anything, we're gonna go ahead and just check out this little video real quick. Hopefully we don't have no technical issues with this. Y'all can see that real good?
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka went on Instagram to announce she will not address the media at the French Open next week. That includes traditional post-match news conferences. The four-time Grand Slam singles champ explained, "I've often felt people have no regard for athletes' mental health, and this rings very true whenever I see a press conference or participate in one."
Quite honestly, I was shocked because it's part of being a professional athlete in any sport is the communication with the media.
Former Davis Cup captain Patrick McEnroe expressed admiration for Osaka's courage, but questioned her approach.
It's sort of a taboo, right? To talk about your mental frailties or different, depression, anxiety, and those things as a professional athlete. So I credit her for doing that. But to say you're not going to talk to the press at all, when they're the conduit in many ways to the fans and to the world.
Osaka, 23, has spoken to reporters about feelings of depression and says she's seen too many players reduced to tears during media sessions, which she says felt like kicking a person while they are down.
Yesterday, I just woke up and I was really depressed, but I don't know why.
Osaka earned more than $55 million last year in prize money and endorsements. That's more than any other female athlete in the world. As the future face of women's tennis, McEnroe says she is obligated to speak to the fans who support her and the media outlets which contribute to her financial success.
When it comes to supporting the tour, Mark, you need to be a team player. You need to support the sport. You need to support the other players that don't have the same platform that you do.
McEnroe told me he does not expect other players to follow Osaka's lead, but her stance may cause the sport to examine its policies about players' media responsibilities. Osaka says she's ready to accept any fines for her actions, requesting the funds be donated to a mental health charity. I'm Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
So I'm gonna stop sharing on that. And y'all fellas think about that. J.Jones, I'm gonna let you take that, you know what I'm saying? Because you brought that up. I thought it was crazy kind of looking at it because I don't know. What you think, bro? What you think about that?
I think she did what was best for her. And I think sometimes that the sport, like you said, the sport or the media should understand that these athletes do go through a lot. They prepare. They, like Vic said, they wake up at 5 a.m, they practice all day sometimes, and they go to bed. Sometimes they don't feel like talking, and I know it's in the contracts and that they signed it and everything, but I think it should be, if somebody feels depressed and doesn't feel like talking, I don't think they should have to pay a $15,000 fine, just because they didn't feel, she was depressed. She didn't feel like talking. So it's kind of like they just, like every other sport, even college sports, they're using the person's platform for the sport, instead of caring about the person. So that's what I don't like about it. So.
Yeah, and I want to add to it, and I'll let you, Vic, add what you got on it, bro. Like I feel like it's unfair, bro. Like it's unfair that when you're a great athlete, you are expected to be a politician, and you expected to have to always have something to say to everybody about stuff and be at the forefront and speaking. I feel like, bro, like most athletes that I've known, the best ones I've known, have used athletics as a route of communication. You know what I'm saying? like it was like their safe haven. It was where they could go be physical and not have to talk too much. Like they could use their play and let that be the talker for them. Where you got the media though that doesn't respect the fact that, you know, this may be, you know, their safe haven. Like this, they don't want to talk to you. Like we, as an athlete, I did not want to talk to the media, bro. Like I did not want to talk. Like Vic, like I feel like Vic is the same way, and I'm sure, like, you know what I'm saying, J.Jones, you like we don't want to talk to y'all. Like I'm not trying to sit there and talk to you about my next match, about my next game. Like you know I want to win. What else we gotta talk about? Like this is just for entertainment. So you gonna find me because I don't want to talk to you about dumb stuff, stupid questions, answering questions you have, you know the answers to. Like I feel like it's bullying, bro. Like the press has been bullying athletes for years. And I feel like at some point, like only way they're gonna really get the point, but they need to stop doing that is if like athletes really take a stand and everybody just say we done talking to y'all. Like unless you like respect the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like maybe I don't have much to say to you. Like I'm going through something. Let me give me my space. Like these are people. Like, does anybody show up to your job with a mic? Like, hey, how'd you feel about what happened when in the last meeting you had when you blew up in somebody's face? Like, can you tell us what, you know, like ain't nobody like that's not happening at your job, bro. Like this is their job, you know, but I don't know. What you think, Vic?
Man, this is the thing. So I work from home currently. So I work in the living room. I had, Get Up and First Take, and this has been all over the TV. I actually talked to my dad about it. It's one of those things, like you said, like, yeah, it's in the contract, but, I'm going to use an example. Y'all remember when Cam and the Panthers had that great year? Cam was doing his thing and, biggest game of his life. And then, you lose a Super Bowl, and to some people they're like, oh, regular fans is like, all right, it's our team. They got next year. But, us as an athlete, we take that personal.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, when Cam, they're asking him all these questions, what can you have done better? Why did you not die for the ball? And Cam just got up and left. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you can't ask someone after they just, prepared, 17 games, not even including camp and everything, and then go out there and you're picking on the things that they messed up. Like you don't want to hear that.
And they doing it at the highest level already, bro. Like
Yeah.
he's already doing it at the highest level. Like I'm one of the best to do it, and you got me on a podium grilling me. Like after I slipped up.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of my face, bro.
Yeah, and that's how it was too. Senior year, it's the week of hard pain. Coach Burleson was always like, each week it's hard to win, and I'm getting interviewed, and the lady from the Big Country homepage is she's like, you guys know it's going to win. Like, you don't have to be respectful. I'm like, no, like you don't know that. You don't know what we have to go through, and especially with this tennis player, people can say all this. Well, oh, she's making millions of dollars. I'm like, if that don't show you that money don't bring happiness, I don't know what will. Because it's not. I mean, yeah, we're doing it for fun, but it's also a job at that level. Because if you don't perform, money ain't coming in.
It's your money. That's your lifeline. Like
and people, they're like, she's 23, she's an adult. I'm like, I mean, not really. If she's 23, 23 is, 23, you just graduated college, you're still getting your first job. Some people move back in with their parents. She's still, she's still young. I mean, yeah, she's considered an adult, but, you be 23 years old with all these millions, you got all these fans and all these eyes on you. You have one bad round and you get this, and you wake up the next morning, you see people just coming back, and that's what, you got these coaches telling athletes, 24-hour rule, forget about it. Well, how are you supposed to forget about it if the news bring it up till the end of the week?
They bring it up all the time. And then the flip side of that, bro, is when you, like you said before, like when you was at Hard Simmons and y'all was high performing, and let's say you perform at the highest level, and you got people trying to make you be a person that you're not in front of a camera, in front of the mics, because they want to get a bit. They just want to get a sound bit of you saying some hot off the press stuff to get the ratings up, or to get people like, oh, so-and-so said this. It's like, that's it's bullying, bro. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Especially for a girl like that. She's 23 years old, like you said, bro. Like, you ain't really an adult like that till you at least 25 to me. Like, I feel like you still going through a lot of mental development. And then no matter if you grown or not, bro, mental health is real, bro. Like, we all have down times. And if I'm going through a downward spiral in my life, like, I'm in front of all these cameras and lights, bro. Like, I don't want to talk to y'all. Y'all
And
need
that's
to
the
respect that.
that's the thing. Why can't they respect? I mean, if she talks to the media 9 times out of 10, but this time I feel really depressed and I don't want to talk to y'all. Why should I have to pay y'all $15,000 because I'm feeling depressed? You know, like I've
Yeah,
talked to y'all. This is our
yeah,
first time saying that. This is our first time saying I'm not talking to the media, and everybody gets mad and it's an uproar. But it's
yeah,
like,
because and that's what people forget. Athletes are, just because we out there having fun don't mean we're struggling through things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an escape, but once we walk off that court, real life comes back.
mhm,
And it's like, mental health. I mean, me right now, I'm dealing with like some anxiety and stuff, but I'm getting through it. But I'm sitting here like, man, I don't know how she does it. Cause, you know, like I said, she's all these fans, she's got to be in front of cameras and, I mean, you've seen it before, even celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do it. Someone can't do it. They fall in depression and people, like I said, man, it shows money ain't everything. At some point, you got to take care of you. So I'm with her for what she did because you can see it too. I mean, probably the best person for this example is Nick Saban. I mean, he lets the media have it. I think the best example I could give was when he played, I think, a FCS school, and Alabama's up 21-6 at half, and the media is like, hey, are you mad that you guys were up? And Nick Saban's like, it's the first game of the season. What do you want us to do and be in top shape? So, but I get it. Media is part of it, but at the same time too, they do it to edge those athletes on.
Yeah, bro. Like, and Nick Saban be letting them have it, and Russell Westbrook be letting them have it. And there's a lot of people that get in front of them cameras and they'll go in. And I think, bro, I think I applaud every athlete that's at the highest level, taking those interviews and being honest. Once that time comes to answer those questions, because like, bro, like you not only do you coach or play a game, right? So that's where you kind of have an escape, but you also making millions and millions of dollars. So you got two things that are covering up, maybe your anxiety or depression or whatever, because you can kind of create like a little safe haven for yourself at most times. And then it's like now, like Vic said, real life, when you get exposed, your real life gets exposed to the media and they cooking you. It's like, bro, that's got to be wild. Cause I know when I fell down and depressed or whatever, I can shut my door, stay up in this crib. You know what I'm saying? Take my little sick leave, and I'm here. Like, I ain't gotta go see y'all. I ain't gotta talk to nobody. They don't get that opportunity. They don't get that opportunity. So you know what I'm saying? I feel like I hope to see athletes get behind this young lady. You know what I'm saying? Like really like support her, like Marshawn Lynch. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's openly been like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk to y'all. Like, and now Marshawn's more open, and you see how reckless he been with them because, like, hey, look, this is what y'all wanted, right? Y'all wanted this, got it. Y'all wanted me. Y'all don't always want to hear everything that people got to say. Just respect people's space and their their ailments, whatever they're going through. Respect their mental health, man. It's real talk. That's how I feel. That's how.
no, that's real. But we can segue this into the next topic. Kind of like it kind of is. We said staying true to yourself. So basically, her not selling out for that money, because those tournaments, especially the French Open for tennis, it's a major. So like her not playing in that tournament, that was her staying true to herself. No matter how much money she could have won or endorsement she could have got from playing in that tournament, she was like, all right, y'all don't care about me. I don't care about y'all. I'm not even playing. So I like you said, I'm proud of her for what she did, and I hope all athletes back her. I saw a couple basketball players tweet out to her like, I think it was no, it was Kyrie Irving. He said tweeted out to her and told her like, good job, stay true to yourself. So how y'all feel about that? Like being athletes and like you said, carry the media or even people at the school try to make you act some way or be some person that you really are. So how y'all feel about that?
And so with that, bro, I feel like staying true to yourself is the most important thing that in life, bro. Like to me, I don't ever personally, I try my absolute best to own my own uniqueness, which is why I feel like I've been pushed out of certain rooms or I've been kind of categorized in certain groups of people, and then people are shocked by who I really am because I'm always trying to be myself at every given moment. Like we talked about before, J.Jones, like You know what I'm saying? Being the type of person that always gravitates towards lost people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always close to the broken people because I am constantly repairing myself. So I identify with people that are in low places. So people will think that I'm broken. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, like I'm not totally broken. I kind of got my stuff together in certain areas of my life, but just being unique to yourself, being true to yourself, just constantly listening to yourself, bro. Like that's the only way you're gonna get anywhere in life. Like there's no way we're gonna have a chance to be successful at whatever we do if we're not happy. Like if you don't take the time to think about, man, how am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? What's got me to this point? If you don't take the time to do those things, the rest of the stuff don't matter. Any job you do don't matter. The people in your life, you can love them to death, but at that point they don't matter because you get close to them, you're just gonna hurt them. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to be like hearing your own voice. Like you got to be able to hear God first. I believe you got to hear God who talks to you. And then once God talks to you, you got to hear yourself talking back. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be able to truly sit in a room by yourself. I said this like about a week ago when we was on the podcast, and listen to your own thoughts. Like you got to be able to truly sit there and listen to your own thoughts. That is wild for some people. It's a crazy concept because people constantly crowd themselves with people so they don't have to hear their own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You always going to parties, you're going to hang out with people that have drinks, you go to church to have fellowship, you go here, you go there, but it's always surrounded by people. So you never really get back to who am I? What am I really wanting for myself? Like, how did I get down this road? And then this is just a constant spiral. So I think being unique to yourself, going back to what you said, J.Jones, is probably the most empowering thing you can do to be able to uplift your own self and to say things to yourself that are going to get you out of wherever you at. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know what you can't have happen wrong. Like you gotta know what's my breaking point. Like what is the thing that I do not want to happen, like in my life. You know what I'm saying? You can only build from there. What is that thing? Like what can I not be a bad father? Okay, we could build from there then. That's bottom line for me. That's ground zero. I will never be a bad father. So we could build off of that. But if I'm a bad father and that's my ground zero and I don't know, my life is jacked up. Like I'm ready to kill myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I got everything I wanted. I got all this money. I'm millions of dollars. I got beautiful, wife, but I'm a bad father. I'm ready to kill myself because I don't know my ground zero. So,
yeah, most definitely. I mean, that's one thing, I brought Jarrell. That's like one of the things I'm facing now is just, staying true to yourself. Like I said earlier, I had things going on, just went through a, pretty hard breakup of a girl, 2 years we dated, man. Um, ended on good terms. Everything's good, wish nothing but the best for her. But, I kind of started noticing I was changing a little bit myself, kind of getting away from my family a little bit and everything. And, trying to make it work. And it's like you said, Carrie, you sit in a room to yourself and you hear these thoughts and they get to you. And, with me, it was stress, gave me physical symptoms. And finally, when I realized like, whoa, I'm starting to change, that's when, it clicked and it's going to me. And that's why I told Jarrell, that's what I'm trying to figure, I'm trying to get back to who I was before and stuff like that. Because like you said, before you're down this path, you're like, damn, how did I get here? And stuff like that, man. And see, that's one thing too, I know some people won't understand, but we know, it's like I said earlier, staying purple, staying true to, who we are. And for those of you guys that don't understand, staying purple is just your values and what you believe in. You got to stick to. You can't have anyone change it. And see, and that's what, that tennis players are doing. That's what we all need to do. You speak to God, but at the end of the day, if you hear that little voice in your head, you can't ignore it because eventually it's going to pop out. Either, you're just going to hear it even more, or your body's going to, like with me, physical symptoms, it's just going to be like, hey, something's got to change.
Bro, anything you push down, bro, anything you push down is coming up violent.
Come back to surface. It's going to come back.
Violent.
It's going, yeah.
You might
as well find a way. You're going to find a way to come get you. And then, the only way to get rid of it is to, release it and talk about it and then realize, because now, even right now, outside looking at, I'm like, man, I changed a lot. So,
you know what, Big? I applaud you for your transparency too, bro. I applaud you for your transparency because the real talk, we all be going through stuff like that.
Oh, man.
We all feel that, and it's like you do get to that point where you're like, man, like I lost myself. Like we all had the moments. That is not me. That is not me. But go ahead, J.Jones.
I'm just saying, in this society, it's like so many people trying to live and be somebody that they're not. And I always credit that to social media. But when you lie so much, you got to keep lying. You got to keep lying. No, for real. When you lie, you got to keep lying. Once you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie to keep that lie going.
Yeah.
And then that's how you lose yourself right there. You lying so much you don't even know what's true anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the thing. When you lie to yourself so much, even with that voice in your head, that when God's saying, "Hey, this is not you," but society is making you be this person. That's how we lose ourselves. That's how we go down the wrong path. So it's real hard. Like Kerry said, I've been to the point sometimes where I'm like, that's not Jarrell. I lay in bed at night or cooking food, whatever. When you had a quiet moment, you're like, dang, why did I do that? That's not me. So I apply both of y'all, all of us for being transparent, because most people won't even, they would just keep lying like, nah, this is me. This is what I do. This is who I am. So I just have to keep it real with myself. That's the best thing. And I know it just keeps me grounded. I actually love being Jarrell, so I guess a lot of people who lie to themselves don't like being themselves, and that's how you get to that depressed point. So that's my little spit.
You know what? I'm gonna cut you out, J.Jones.
No, you good. I was done.
I feel like with that lying to yourself, like I think it's hard to redirect when you don't know you lying.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes, like you said, you lie so much you forget, what true was.
Yeah.
And I think when I believe the crowd mind is the dumbest mind that's present in existence, bro. Like when you get with more than 2 or 3 people, once you get thoughts coming together, sometimes it's like you start to adopt other people's mindsets and not even notice it. Now, I'm not gonna say it's always bad, but I feel like even when you're a part of a group or a union, you need to be able to take time and separate and have your own individual thoughts. You have to slate out time in your day to have your own individual thoughts, the good, the bad, and the ugly, come out and you be able to, reflect on that stuff. And like lately I've taken up journaling. Like I've been kind of like, journaling daily. Like not daily, if I would say every other day. But I journal just because it's a release for me.
Yep.
Like, I get to a point where sometimes I have a lot to say and I don't know how to say it. And I don't like that because I work with a lot of women. I'm a teacher. And when you can't communicate your frustrations, people that can, they're like, sometimes they'll be a little overbearing because they're such great communicators. I think that men, we just way behind the communication aspect. So at times it's difficult. So I started journaling so I could be able to get my thoughts out clearly. So for myself, I journal and I also, just try to like J.Jones said, familiarize myself with the truth. Like, what is the truth in this situation? I'm gonna say it, and it may hurt, but I'm gonna say it. Like I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna keep saying it because that's the only way I have the power to change what's wrong. Like I will never get the power to change what's wrong as long as I don't identify the truth. So for all the people that's staying in the way, you running from the truth because it hurts so bad. Like it hurts so bad. Like it's like, hey, that's the truth, but it's gonna be the truth regardless. It ain't going nowhere. And then people be like when I say it now, I tell people the truth now, people be like, man, like they looking at me like, you really just said that? Like, yeah. You gonna disagree with it? Like, can you say that something else is true? Because if so, then bring it to the table. I'm willing to talk it out. I'm willing to figure out the truth. Like, I want to fix this problem. Like, we got to have solution-based mindsets in our issues. You can't be just, bringing up problems. You need to know the solution. And the only way you're going to find solutions is you practice truth. Like, the truth will set you free, real talk.
See, that's the thing. Truth is one of the easiest things you can do, but it's also the hardest for people.
Nobody want to hear it. Nobody want to hear it, bro.
Nobody. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to end things with her. It as a I was in a constant battle with myself, but it's something I had to do, and it's people tell me it was it's like I tell people I didn't want to do it. I had to. That's the truth.
You got to talk to yourself at the end of the day.
Yep.
You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, Vic, do you love me?
Mm-hmm. like I said, I mean, it ended fine. You know, like I said, nothing but respect for and good luck to her. But you know, it's like she told me, you know, she's got to focus on herself. I focus on mine, and we're still friends and everything, which I'm glad. But you know, it's that's just the truth at the moment, and like
Mhm.
people don't want to face it, but it's powerful how much once you do tell yourself that truth, how much relief you get.
God looking at you like he proud of you. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
what God like, okay. So now I can trust you, son. I can trust you because I know you're not gonna start telling my people lies. Like you're gonna keep it real with my people. Like that's when he gonna give you more. I
You know?
think you want more and you ain't telling the truth to yourself yet. So you going through all this hell and it's because you lying. Still lying.
Yeah. And love, we talked about this last podcast. Love will make you do some crazy things. So that's the hardest. Like when you're in love with somebody, you don't even see what's going on. You just kind of living. You waking up, you happy, you know, happy go lucky every day, but
Them
behind
songs
closed
ain't just
doors,
songs that them singers sing. It's the truth.
yeah. But when
Man,
you, like you said, when you lay down and you by yourself, you looking like, what is going on? Like, I don't feel good. What's going on? You know?
bro,
So
as a man, you just when you love a woman, you learn to sacrifice because
mhm.
I feel like when we grow up, we kind of be a little more selfish. Like we think about ourselves a lot. We try to do things for us and build for us, and we have our purpose and our goals, and then you come together with a partner, and now you learn sacrifice. You sacrifice time, you sacrifice energy, you make so many sacrifices, and you get into a habit, and you believe, okay, now I know that sacrifice means love, and then all of a sudden, once the sacrifice isn't turning into what you thought it was going to turn into for y'all, and maybe something's not going right, and you have to readjust. That hurt, bro. That hurts. It ain't no pump, bro. That's like a gut punch. You be like, oh man, my tongue.
the, the hardest thing is like Vic said, is like a lot of people say I wasted 2 years of my life, but you didn't. You
Yeah.
learned something through them 2 years of your life, and you met a person that y'all had great times with. So it's not like you wasted that time. You learned, and you met somebody. You met somebody. You spent time with somebody that you actually liked at the time. You know, and still do like. You know, just because y'all not together doesn't mean that I hate this person.
No, I
Well,
mean
some
that's what I
people,
say. You know,
yeah,
people always say like, you know, I don't like her. I'm like, bro, I'm like, you just lying to yourself right there.
mm,
And you know, that's what someone asked me, like, well, do you hate her for? I'm like, no, like, ain't no hate. You know, I spent 2 years with the girl. Like you know, we became great friends. You know, like I said, we're still friends. We ain't gonna talk to each other all the time, but you know, but I mean, and someone asked me too, like, oh man, was that a waste of 2 years? I'm like, no, like I even told her like I don't regret them 2 years. I don't. But you know, and it's like you said, it's you learn from this, and you just move on.
Take
And that's
that.
what people don't understand is God has I forget it too, man. God has a plan. Sometimes we just forget about it. It's you when everything's going good, you're like, yeah, okay. And then once it starts, that's when people start questioning.
Yeah, and that's when you're supposed to really lean on him. That's when he looking at you like, what you gonna do now? Like it's easy to praise me when all is well. You thank God I got this woman. Then once things ain't looking right, you alone in that room, you be like, damn man, like he be waiting on you, like I'm waiting on you to come back. I'm waiting on you. So,
Yep.
yeah, bro, we gotta level up. Once you take you take them levels up and you take one back, you still higher than you was before.
Yep.
You ain't going back where you was before. You gotta continue to build on top of that with a new understanding.
For sure.
boy, drinking that water, boy. I'm proud.
Man, it's hot in here, bro. The AC out, bro. I'm sitting here sweating, bro. I swear to God, man.
That boy carried and turned the hat backwards, turned it forward.
I feel like
Try not to you start trying to have a heat stroke in this
man,
house.
I feel like when the pastors be having the time be ooh,
No, for real.
Jesus.
Hey, and I started off, I didn't start off the show wrong, but Vic never even told us what he does
Oh
and
man.
everything.
Yeah, we straight into the hardships, man.
We just got into it. Like he said, my name Vic, we got to it. But hey, Vic, let everybody know what you're doing right now. You know, like what's up with your life, you know,
Yeah.
work,
So
everything.
due to COVID, you know, I came back home. I'm with the folks, loving it, saving up some money. I'm a financial aid advisor for ACU. We got a Dallas campus here in Addison, working from home. So that's what I do. You know, I have new students who come in, you know, but they're not the traditional students. I got a lot of students who are parents trying to get back to finish their degree, some transfers, a bunch of stuff like that, and any continuing students. So, like I said, I just help them on their financial journey, which I tell a lot of people, that's just the scary part of the degree. Of course, you got the classes, but at the end of the day, the question is, how am I going to pay? So that's what.
Yeah, big time.
I never figured that one out.
I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Hey, J.Jones, you got a topic. We're going to tap into that. Yeah.
Well, so Vic, so you said it's a lot of parents, like older people coming back and then transfer.
Yeah, with COVID, we got a lot of younger students too.
Okay.
So it's a bunch of that stuff. But like I said, it's a student is a student. I have more a little bit older, but we do have some students that just graduated high school.
Okay. So a day in the life of Vic, what happened? Like, do they email you? What goes on? With COVID and everything.
An admissions advisor, they get a hold of the student, they communicate, once they fill out the application, they get congratulated, send them my way. I let them set up their ACU account and everything. And then we do a little welcome call. I say little. I work with undergraduate students, M through Z. And, my first question is, you got any questions for me? And if they say no, I'm like, okay. But then the second question I always ask is, have you ever used financial aid before? And then that's whenever, I determine the call if it's going to go long or short. If they say no, break it down for them. And for those of you who don't know, you got, there's different types of financial aid. Of course, you got the loans that people don't want to do. And then you got the grants, which, the grants are based off of the school. So if you got that GPA, if you got stuff like that, go for it. But I will say that, one thing about the loans is, and schools won't tell you this, I don't know why, but, say you got a $5,500 loan, but you only need $2, you can adjust it. You don't need the full $5. Yeah. See, even Carrie right there is looking at them. Yeah.
You can adjust all loans, like even private, federal.
Yep. So say, you can only adjust of how much they give you. So say Hardin Simmons gave you like a $12,000 loan, but you only needed 5 of it. You can just tell them like, hey, I just want the 5,
bro.
Keep the 7.
That's a bar. And you know what's crazy, bro? I was taking out the full loan every single semester because that was the limit or whatever they told me.
Yeah, because that's what they told you the full award was. Yep.
Because they know they're gonna get that money back if they award it, then you get it.
And see, yeah, and that's the thing, with the Department of Education, they're like, oh yeah, go for it. We're gonna get it back at the end of the day. We don't care. But that's what I tell students. Some of them, like, I don't want to get into loan debt. I'm like, okay, I get that. So I tell them like, look, this is how much you need after your Pell Grant's covered. And like, and the subsidized loan, for y'all that don't know, subsidized, that don't start accruing interest until 6 months after you graduate. That unsubsidized is the one that starts occurring once you accept it. So I tell them like, hey, accept this subsidized loan of $1,100. That's all you need. We'll put the rest back. And that's a bunch of them love it. I tell them that. Of course, sometimes like, Carrie, you get a little credit refund to spend on yourself and stuff like that, which I get it, if you want a new laptop or whatever, but yeah, just know that them loans, you ain't got to accept the full amount. You can accept just what's needed.
Man, but what's crazy is like, even like taking money out, I feel like with school, and you work in that realm now, so you kind of have a better understanding of this, but like, you don't really have to take out that much money. Like, you really, like you said, like, just find a way to piece some money together. Like, because if you do, it'll help you in the long run. Because that interest is where the game changes. Like, that interest is really what went, that changed my life for sure. Like, that's why I know I'm gonna be paying these loans back for a mighty long time. And
that's the thing, if I would have known like the stuff I know now when I was an undergrad, I'd have a better. So that's what I'm doing. The knowledge I know, I'm telling, these freshman students as they're starting.
That's what's up.
They can get ahead of the game.
J.Jones already had it though. J.Jones, how much you pay for school? None.
Well, at Tarleton, they gave me 2 big Pell Grants. I don't know how they found 2, because the coaches, they can find stuff. So yeah, I didn't.
I mean, and that's the
I had a
thing.
full scholarship. Yeah.
The basic Pell Grant, you know, it's one thing too. It's I hate it. They base it off of your family contribution. So you know,
Oh, okay.
you got two working parents, they're gonna give you much.
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of schools, what you got to do is you got to look to see what kind of Pell Grants that the school offers, not from financial aid. So, so
So
like
yeah,
so
Tarleton
it's
found
like
me too.
Tarleton probably So they gave you probably a Tarleton grant. Like Hardin Simmons gave me an endowed grant, which was one of theirs because of my GPA. It's there. You just got to ask, but they're not. You know, the financial people ain't gonna say nothing.
Bro,
That's
you can
crazy.
get grants. You could get grants for being a minority. You could get
Left-handed,
grants for being a woman. You could get grants for like everything.
left-handed, left-handed.
Yeah, left-handed grants.
There's a left-handed grant, bro. Like, ain't no reason. Like, if you going to college, I feel like, and this all the parents that got kids going to college, or if you know you planning on going to college, man, go do your research and find some money. I'm gonna shout out Ronald Hill. I'm gonna shout out Ron because Ron want to put me on that, bro. Like Ron used to like literally be studying grants, bro. Every semester, like Ron used to be like, he's been like, bro, I'm gonna put in for this grant. I'm trying to
And there's grants and there's also like scholarships too.
Yeah, there's scholarships too.
And it's like I think like Scholarship Monkey or something like that. And I tell a lot of people too, like if you go to church, a lot of churches do have like a little budget for scholarships.
Anybody that got most businesses got a budget. Like they got a budget for stuff like that. Like if you associated with it, they have a budget for you to go to school. Or like me and J.Jones talking about, they got budgets for small businesses. Like the economy has this setup where they have money allotted. The government got money allotted. Everybody got some money allotted to stuff like advancement. You know what I'm saying? Advancement of people. So if you're trying to advance yourself, it's in your best interest to figure out who's interested in your advancement. You know what I'm saying? There's people that want to see you, or I guess I say want. They have an agenda. They have an initiative to see you win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah, and this one thing too, you know, for the older viewers, you know, a lot of employers have like tuition deferral, which means they'll pay for part of that school. You just got to ask. Some people don't know.
Starbucks, McDonald's got that too.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they
like ACU. You know, if you're an ACU employee, but say you want to get a graduate degree, you know, after 6 months they pay, you know, they pay the full amount for for 2 classes.
After 6 months.
After 6 months, I mean, which I understand. You know, they want to make sure you work there, but like I said, there's places that do it.
The game is all about what you know, man. Once you know, you got to take the information.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I said, you know, the word college comes up, people get excited, but then there's that question: how much is it going to cost me? Yeah. And that's one thing too. Like I tell you, don't be ashamed to go to community college for 2 years.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that.
And that's the thing, you know, you got people in high school like, oh, you staying at home going to community college, like, you know, you ain't gonna like, okay, but at least, you know, if they're eligible for Pell Grant, it covers the whole amount.
Mm-hmm. Well, you going to college, you about to be in debt, $50,000 in debt.
You see, that's the thing. Those first 2 years are just your basic courses.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
So, you know, you can go to community college, be debt free, and then you're going in as a junior compared to this other person who's a junior, but it's already 50,000 in debt for just the basic.
And they changed their major.
Yep.
So you changed your major, so now you took more classes because you didn't want to be a psychology major. Now you want to be a marine biologist, and now you done added 12 credits. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a smart human being you talking about, Karen. Marine biologist.
you know, cats gonna be. You know what I'm saying? People just be wanting to do certain things, and they just jump in. And
no, a smart person is my brother's roommate. He's going to A&M to be an aerospace engineer.
That is a genius.
He about to work with Elon Musk. Him and Elon
to the moon.
That's his internship. That's his internship for the next summer.
To the moon. He going. What's it?
He's working with the Tesla company in Houston.
Hey, yeah.
What's up?
He on the sun. You need to keep him around.
What's his number?
We might get him on the podcast.
On the next podcast, yeah.
Next podcast, homeboys on here. Like we need to chop.
Sloan, for what you was talking about, like with money out here, just for people that not even college, but you can go to grants.gov and you can see what you're eligible for. Like in life, you can get a small business loan. You can get a 501, C. You can do it's so many loans out there, man. I looked at them earlier because we were talking about it, Kerry. But nonprofit loan, you can so
Yeah,
much money out there that we don't use. Like we don't use it. The government has it.
there's like a specific loan for Texas residents with the interest rates a little bit lower. And like I said, but you just got to look for it. And one thing too is like when you go to a school's website and you click the financial aid, you can look to see how much it's going to cost you, and you can put in to see how much you're eligible for. So it's just looking at those numbers, they're just right there. But at the same time too, you know, um, if you live close by, you ain't got to do room and board. You ain't got to do meal plans. It's just a tuition. But like I said, there's sources out there. It's just the colleges ain't gonna hand it out to you. But see, what I do is I tell students like, hey, you can do like a Sally Mae, you can do all these other stuff, but you also got to look for it. It's that part. But there's grants for everything, man. There's always that stuff. You just got to look for it.
That homework gonna pay off tenfold. That homework.
Tenfold.
I didn't.
Yeah, and that's what I tell my students too. Some of them are like, I don't want to accept these loans. I'm like, look, I get it. You don't want to be in debt, but this degree, that piece of paper, it might be expensive, but that piece of paper is what makes you get those big checks at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, it opened doors that you might not be able to open without that piece of paper.
Yeah, it's that paper. That paper is going to make people look back twice before even thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the other part of it too is that we gotta understand that the other paper, which is these dollars, is leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta use this money. If you're gonna take out a loan, you need to understand that you're using that money to put yourself in a better position.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. It's not for, what I'm saying, oh, let me use the extra to, what I'm saying, ball out. Like, let me go ahead.
Screen TVs.
Yeah. Man, put the money away. Like,
see, that's what some students are doing. For some of mine is they'll accept the full amount. So like right now, my summer 2 students, they're getting back like 11,000 back, but that 11,000 finna pay for the fall semester.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
And so they're saving up, or like I said, some buy a new laptop to start school.
Yeah.
Or some people, they accept the full amount because they need a little extra cash on hand just in case. But they're not over here and stuff. But that's why I tell them, like, you ain't got to accept the full amount. You can accept just what's needed. And like I said, but financial advisors ain't gonna tell you that just because they're like, just go ahead and accept it, you'll be good.
Business.
They just trying to get things done so they can, what I'm saying, be validated.
Because I tell you right now, at ACU, we got enrollment and student service advisors, and student service advisors are the ones that check in on them, make sure they're good. All my students call me to rant about stuff.
Yeah.
Just because at the end of the day, they're like, you ain't just talking about money, you're actually trying to help me, not get debt and actually care.
That's a lack in all jobs, bro. People that really like people, that really care about people. I ain't gonna say like care about people. You ain't gotta like people to care about them. Let me go ahead and put that on record. I don't like all y'all, but I do care about you enough to care about you. Yeah, I be telling my kids all the time. They be like, "Mister, you like me?" I be like, "No, I care about you though."
There's a difference. There's a difference.
Hey, but look, I don't want to. I hate to cut y'all off, but I got to brag on Vic for a little bit for the last topic. We're gonna go real quick so my boy could get some rest. Mm-hmm. But Kerry came up with this: the value of being an underdog. Now I'm just gonna talk about Vic for a little bit because Vic's junior year going to his senior year in football, I used to tell him, hey, you're gonna win the Remington Award, which is the best center in the country, And he played the position, center. He snapped the ball. For y'all don't know, that's the guy, the offensive lineman who snapped the ball. So Vic, he's short in college football standards. He probably didn't weigh as much as 80% of the centers out there. But every practice, we be, practicing. I say, hey man, let's go Remington Award winner. And he like, man, I don't know about all that. That's a high goal. That's up there, Jarrell. Hey, you gonna win it. And his senior year, after his senior year, all the awards come out and everything. Vic just sent me a text like, hey, I won the Remington Award, man. I remember. So so this man being undersized, underweight, everything, being an underdog, really, still came out on top. So, Vic, I just want you. I mean, like I said, I just wanted to brag on that a little bit, but tell me how I guess your whole life in football, you've probably been like an underdog to people, So explain how
Yes.
you get through that, man.
I'm gonna tell you the first time I ever, I guess, was truly kind of disrespected by that was my freshman year. I don't know if y'all did this in high school. I mean, we all played Texas high school football, but it was like those little discount cards that you have to go sell for like
Yeah.
so my freshman year, us being freshmen, we didn't have cars, so we're walking around, and I knock on this dude's door, and I'm trying to sell this card. He's like, "What position do you play?" I was like, "I play center." And I'm a freshman. I weigh 185 in high school. I was a lot smaller. I was like, "I play center." He's like, "Nah, you too small and skinny to play center." I'm like, "What you mean? You never seen me play?"
Right.
So from then on, I kind of realized, okay, so that's how just how it's going to be looking like, and maybe I was like, maybe I'll hit a growth spurt. Now I grew about 2 inches up. But one thing I always, like you said, I was always undersized and stuff in high school. I mean, it never really bothered me just because high school you're out having fun and playing. And then once I got to Hardin Simmons, I kind of saw the people getting bigger and stuff like that. But probably the one thing that kind of just motivated me was, you know, um, you put in all this hard work, but you don't hear your name, and it happens a lot. You hear all these greats, get all these records, but didn't win a Super Bowl, didn't win a championship, didn't win a World Series and stuff like that. And, I told myself, I'm like, if you want to get noticed, you're going to have to put in extra work. And it sucked. Don't get me wrong. It did suck. And it's like Jarrell said, every day at practice, he'd be like, let's go All America. Let's go, Remy. I'm like, bro, like, he's like, don't jinx me on any of that stuff. But it's one of those things where, it's like Coach Brelson always said too, trust the process.
Yeah.
And then it's like my dad said, he always told me, he goes, if you work hard, it's going to show. It might not show today, it might not show tomorrow, but it's going to show one day.
Yeah.
And, that stuck with me. And like I said, I always, even in the weight room, I wanted, if it was a 5 sets of power clean, how Coach Cole used to get crazy with stuff. It's that fifth rep. I just did 4. I'm heavy breathing. I'm like, man, I want to put it down. But then I'm sitting there like, I look at, Riley. I'm like, okay, Riley can probably do 4 just because he's bigger than me. I'm like, but I got to get that extra step because I'm not as big. And that's how I took it in life right now, even too, being someone new, they're not going to look at you. But if you continue just to, that mentality, like, man, I'm at the bottom, I got to put in extra work because, like I said, eventually that hard work does show off. And I actually called you, Jarrell, when I got it. I called Jarrell. I'm like, Jarrell, I'm the Remington. He didn't believe me.
I didn't.
He's like,
I
man,
didn't
quit
believe.
lying. So I went to the back meeting room and I showed him a picture. I'm like, look. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, I've always been looked down upon and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where, you can sit on it for a second, but you can't let it take you down. You got to use it as motivation at that point. You got to.
Yeah. I feel like that's a superpower, bro. Like, I feel like being an underdog, being put behind people, it gives you a different type of drive, bro. You see the people in front every single day. Like, you watch them. Like, if you really truly an underdog like that, because you're gonna get to that point because the work you putting in, you start to study their moves, bro. Like, you start to see what they're not doing. Like, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do that, and then you start to really hone in on the fundamentals because that fundamentally, if you ain't correct, you're not gonna be on that level. Like, there's certain people that got talent in certain areas.
Yeah, and
you can't compete with that.
And see,
Like,
that's the thing is when people give up because they put it on this hard work, and then there's just people that just got that God-given talent that can show up and just ball.
Yeah,
You're like, man, like that hurts you. That hurts your self-esteem. But at the end of the day, you gotta have that self-esteem in yourself too. That no, you can do it too.
bro. But you know what's crazy though? I think another side of this conversation that people don't normally have is that we all have talents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I love talking about being an underdog, but like, we all do have talents though. There's some stuff that we all are naturally innately gifted at that sometimes we don't cultivate because we have other passions. Like, everybody's multifaceted, but like, it's like We have
Yeah,
athletes.
I wasn't the biggest, but I tell you what I did do is I did a lot of film study though. Probably more than anybody on the offensive line that year, just because I knew, I wasn't gonna beat them with power, but I was gonna beat them, probably with strategy and technique.
And you smart too. Now you a smart guy. Like you could, because weren't you a 4.0? Like, weren't you a 4.0?
I was 3.8.
3 point. I mean, that's still up in undergrad. I don't know how you got
He's
that.
talking about nah. I was just a measly 3.8.
Bro, that's like, I mean, I feel like some of that's God given, like as far as like your IQ, like you're a sharp dude. Like, some guys aren't sharp people. Like they just like, you like, all right, man, you gonna zone step. People zone step. I forgot what that was. Like you
very true,
dude. Like you remember we told you this yesterday. You know what I mean? But it's some people have different gifts. So if you focus on what you good at, then things could also work out better for you.
That's one thing. It's like, people got to realize is each gift is it's literally it's special to that person.
Yeah.
You can't, and that's one thing I learned too is it might not be special to you, but to them it's huge. So you can't be knocking them down on that.
Real for real. No, I had to put that out there, man. I had to brag on Vic a little bit, but I mean, yeah, I even some people, I like people who still have that talent, but they still come in with that chip on their shoulder. They still come in with that, hey, I am an underdog, even if they think that if they're close to the top, if they are at the top. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't hate to say it. Like Kobe, like Jordan, they were on top and they still felt like, nah, it's not enough. So I like people like that. And
what was it, the 10-part documentary series about Michael Jordan was
everything he took, and I took that personally.
Michael Jordan was already like that one where he was at practice yelling at everybody, like still trying to be first. I'm like, you could have easily said, man, I'm not finna run them sprints. We already won like 3 championships, 4.
That's the thing though, bro. Like when you really are in love with the process, bro, you always think about what's next. Like you can't take your mind off of what's next. Like you constantly are fixated on what's next, because you're only as good as the last play. You're only as good as the last outing. Like whenever the last time you did something, that's how good you are. Like nobody like what have you done for me lately? That's the world we live in. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't producing, people gonna throw you to the wayside. Like they're gonna we knew he was gonna do that. So you have to constantly be reproducing greatness. And that's why I think even with Michael Jordan, as great as he was, in today's day and age, we don't really all respect Michael Jordan in the Black community as much as we probably expected to. You know what I mean? Like because of certain things that he hasn't spoke up on and done for our people. It's just the reality of it. I mean, I guess you constantly got to think about what's next. Like as a person, like you can't rest on your awards and your victories and stuff like that. Like
no, it's one of those. It's never being satisfied.
Never being satisfied
because it's it's that thing. I won that Remington Award. Of course, it's hanging in my living room. But it's like I tell people. When I go to work, anyone asking me if I want, what football awards did you win?
Right.
I'm like, I mean, I won this, but that's not so important here. Like I've yet to be asked that question, and I'm, that's what people are saying. That's why I tell them like, I'm gonna just keep working and doing other things. Like, why you already this? I'm like, what you mean why? That ain't gonna last you forever.
No, it won't. It's just it's a time. It was a time, and you cherish the time, and you live in the moment, and you just. That's why I think it's important to like celebrate your small wins or your big wins. Celebrate all your wins because after this moment, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like you take the 24-hour rule, right? Like we all remember that. Like you got 24 hours to celebrate a win or a loss. After that time is gone, you got to start putting your nose back to the grindstone. You put your trophy up, you put your deer head up. You know what I mean? You put your dead body up there. I killed it. And now, you can remember that when you're going through your struggles. Like when you're going through those hard times, remember, I was able to take out Goliath. You dig what I'm saying? Like I can do that. That's what I'm capable of. So I need to get myself back in gear. Sometimes it helps with reflection when you think about your celebrations that you had in the past. Like sometimes you need to go back and like really reflect. Like, man, I was able to do this, this, and this. So this will be nothing. Like this next goal, I can figure out a way to come back brand new and attack this monster the same way I did those. And I think, bro, with football and basketball and tennis, and we kind of got into sports first, and then I want to talk about this, bro, just real quick before J.Jones. I know you're gonna touch on this, but like athletes, when you get out of a game, and for people that haven't been athletes, when we get out of the game, to not identify ourselves with that game and go into real life and take the same values and principles that we learned in that game to real life is probably the most important thing that we could do. You know what I'm saying? Not isolating it and saying, well, I was this, like I was my has-been, like I used to know. Your mindset never is gonna change. It shouldn't change. It should be sharpened by the experiences that you had on the playing field or as a coach or whatever. Like the game should basically, what I'm saying is make you a better person in your life no matter what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about that stuff. Like continue to take those values and build on them, use them constantly. Like, bro, like I never told nobody that I never had a conversation with somebody that was like, oh man, you know, so-and-so might have been better than you were as a running back. I'm like, I don't care, bro. Like that, if I still played, they weren't better than me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like if I still played, they weren't better than me. And that's how I feel in everything I do in life. Like if I'm doing it, you're not better than me. Like I love you. Like it's all good. Like we all love here, but I feel like I'm willing to do more for this than you are. That was always my thing, being an underdog. I'm willing to sacrifice constantly. Like if I want to do this, you got to pay the same price I'm willing to pay, and that's gonna cost you a lot. You know, like if I decided on this, like apparently I thought it was worth everything. So you got to be willing to do the same thing. I don't know if you are. That's just my mindset about it. You know, that's just how I see things.
That's 100, and that's how I feel about it. Like you said, football taught me so much. Anytime I get down, or something's hard, it's not harder than running sprints in 105-degree weather with a helmet and pants. If I can handle that, you know what I'm saying? Like this little something that happened at my job or something that gets me down, I'm like you said, I kind of can think back, like, man, I got from training camp. Like, that was
as a youth, you played youth football in the 90s. You can get through anything. We wasn't
good.
allowed to get water. Like I don't know, like coaches didn't get that flack like that, but they used to tell us not to get water. That was weak, bro. They used to tell us we couldn't drink water in like 95-degree heat. Bro.
That's remember the Titans type stuff.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, man, with life, sometimes life does hit me. Throw a curveball, but I can hit a home run on a curveball too. That's what I tell myself. When life throw me a curveball, I'm still gonna hit that mother too. You know what I'm saying? So
hit that one, man.
Yeah, man. If I could block men that weight easily over 120 pounds, man, and that's the thing, man. Some of these student service advisors are like, oh, you're busy, this. Like, are you nervous? I'm like, nervous, man. We had to drive down we had to win some last minute games on that stuff, and I won't even understand.
Yeah, you learn how to appreciate a moment.
Yep.
Focus on the moment. Focus on your fundamentals. Focus on what you're doing right now. What's important
now.
What's
that TLU game.
What's important now?
I thank y'all for that win when we went down to San Antonio.
Bro, I thank Vic for UMHB my senior year when the O-line just all of a sudden, like, we got cats not wanting to show up to the game. They don't want to practice that week. This is the biggest game of the season, bro. We playing number 2 team in the nation. I'm like, I got two busted up knees. We got a quarterback that got 3 games of experience. You know what I'm saying? We just got everything. And then Vic, you know what I'm saying, just steady Eddie. He just pull up and just doing his job. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we had such a cohesion that it was like everybody knew, like, we had a mission. And then we go in there and knock them off. And I was just like, man, I couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe that this team that had been through so much at this point was able to, do something like that. But like, that's what fundamentals will do for you. Like, like when you dedicate yourself to the fundamentals, talent is not going to sustain.
Talent can only get you so far.
It's gonna stop, bro. It will stop because once you get tired, once your talent gets tired, then now you have to rely on your fundamentals. And now the playing field is equal. Now it's like, who has the better fundamentals? You lose. I do this all the time. You don't. Like, now you tired, you fatigued. You know what I'm saying? Mentally fatigued, physically fatigued. You know, you can't last with this. That's why I believe in faith base, bro. That's why I believe we got to have a strong faith base, because even no matter how much intellect you got, no matter how much drive you got, no matter how much physical, whatever you got going on, your faith base is going to carry you. Period.
Sure.
Going to carry you, bro. Like God is literally ordering every single step we make. Like we got to be able to sit back and reflect and listen to God, so we can, in the darkest hour, say, "I'm gonna make it. I trust Him." With nobody around, like that's it. I gave it to Him already. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I learned from being an underdog. Like rely on stuff that's gonna last. You know what I'm saying? Like stop. That's all.
But hey, it's 10:20. My dog got 10. He go to
bad,
bed at 10:30, man. At 10:30, man. Nah, we did good. We did good. That was all I needed to talk about. That was a good podcast. First time on live. First time on live.
We live, baby.
We live.
Like 5 viewers, but we live though. They ain't know. Cool. We gotta do a better job of marketing than next time. Next time Vic get on, we're gonna have 1,500 viewers, so Vic can, you know what I'm saying, share his story again.
But we're still gonna post it, right?
No, we're gonna still post it. So I believe once we get off, then what I'll be able to do is cut a little bit of it and then post it on YouTube and then do it like that. So it should be a smoother process. So this podcast probably be out next Monday. So.
All right, sounds good.
I'll be weird, but Vic, we appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all letting me be a part of it.
Bro, we appreciate your existence. Thank you for staying purple.
For sure. Both of y'all stay purple.
Yeah, we need that.
Always.
All right.